Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tao of the Day. I'm here in New York with my love, Andy Scarantino, and she's going to go out for a run, and I'm doing Tao of the Day. How are you today? I am doing great, and I am looking forward to chatting with you about the Tao. What is the Tao, you may ask? The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written about 600 BCE, and it translates to the canon of reason. The canon of reason, because it is the canon or the collection of writings that help us understand how to live a more reasonable life. Our lives are. Oh, look at this. Everybody is on here. I did get a couple chats I noticed. I will look at those after Tao of the Day. I don't like to read those things while I'm here. Dr. Jackie Lau, thank you for joining the Tao of the Day. So what is the Tao of the Day? Every day I invite you to come up and pick a number between 1 and 81. The Tao Te Ching is the text that we will be reading. And we will look at a chapter of the Tao together. We just read it over and then see how it relates to your life. Dr. Jackie, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. Nice to meet you, Martin.
Nice to meet you. So, I don't believe we've met before. So, how long have you been on Wisdom?
I've been on Wisdom for maybe like a week.
Oh, okay.
I've
How
been,
are you enjoying?
yeah,
How are you enjoying the app?
on and off, and whenever I chance, but I'm usually really, really busy. So
Yeah.
I think it's super interesting. And when I saw you, Tao of the Day, I just couldn't resist because I love the Tao Te Ching.
Yes, wonderful. As do I. And when I was introduced to the Tao, like I don't know, 20 years ago or so, someone just introduced it to me by doing this thing where it was like, oh, pick a number between 1 and 81, and then we'll go through the Tao and we'll talk about it and see how it's relating to our lives at the moment, and then I like to go through it line by line as well and see if there's anything that we can dig into it. So do you have a number between 1 and 81?
So it's really interesting because as soon as I saw your title, I got my Dr. Wayne Dyer's version of the Tao Te Ching in front of me.
Wonderful.
And yeah, let me pick a number 37.
37. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and use the Stephen Mitchell translation.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephen Mitchell wrote his translation about in the mid to late 80s, and it's one of the kind of quintessential versions that I've read. I have read and can access Dr. Wayne Dyer's, and if you'd be interested, I can always send you a link to the Terabis website, which has over 100 English translations of the Tao Te Ching available online for free. So
That's wonderful.
37 states. The Tao never does anything, yet through it, all things are done. If powerful men and women would center themselves in it, the whole world would be transformed by itself, in its natural rhythms. People would be content with their simple, everyday lives in harmony and free of desire. When there is no desire, all things are at peace. So, what do you think? What are some of your thoughts or lines or words that come out and make you that just stand out to you?
That's really beautiful because I think I was just writing today some of my thoughts. I'll share with you a bit of what I wrote. Um, I wrote that most of what is deemed successful by the society today often is based and built upon some childhood wound or aversion therapy style conditioning. What I really mean is that one would learn usually early on that love is conditional and must be earned through efforts in what is approval yielding, and the abundance in whatever aspects that is considered a success now are therefore often merely a byproduct of a wounded sense of self. So what I was really trying to say is that so much of us is consumed by the idea that we need to be efforting all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like even on this podcast, even on this app, a lot of us feel the need to be accumulating constantly, accumulating minutes, expression or listening, listeners, followers, all sorts of accumulation. So, verse number 37 really reminds us that life in itself is naturally easy. It is in the comparison to what other people are doing, we think we should be doing what other people are doing in order for us to feel a sense of worthiness. What do you
Yeah.
think, Martin?
Well, I'm, like we haven't spoken before, so I speak a lot about addiction, and I speak a
Mm-hmm.
lot about the idea of living under the influence. And when I talk about living under the influence, I talk about living under the influence of our parents, because as soon
Mm-hmm.
as we're born, we are asked to live under their influence through this sort of reward slash punishment in some way. Where it's like, if you cry in a certain way, we will feed you. If you do this, we will do these things for you. We'll exchange these things with you, right? Like, so
Mm-hmm.
that's what you're addressing, I think, is this idea that from early onset in our life, we are we launch into this reward program, right? And when we're children, our parents like us when we do things that they like, and they don't like us, or they get mad at us when we do things they don't like. And then we get into school and we get grades, and those grades are set up in a hierarchy. And when we do things the teacher likes, which means answering the questions in the way the teacher most wants us to answer them, we get a reward. And then we start to live under the influence of this reward system, so we have a desire to be rewarded.
That's so true. Everything is like a good dog, bad dog kind of approach.
Yeah. And our jobs in terms of promotions and pay and other things like that. And maybe on apps where it's like, oh, you have a lot of followers, or oh, you have a lot of minutes, or oh, you have a lot of things, whatever. All of these things are like you were saying, it's like you have a reward system set up.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. So I'm curious because we never talked before, and you sound really interesting. When did you get into the Tao, and how could you communicate with people around you? Or sometimes when I'm getting into all this Eastern philosophy, I feel really isolated, or people don't understand why I'm into this. How do you feel about this?
Oh, everybody. I don't I it's not, for me, it's not esoteric as much as everybody knows this. It is within their heart, and so everybody is aligned with it. I haven't ever found resistance to the Tao. um and when I present it, like when we look at this, like as I present it here on, and I've been presenting the Tao. I usually come on weekdays, sometime in the morning, Central Time, and it's received really well. And I think that the different translations that we have get us to a place where we can talk about it in different ways. I got into the Tao. It was a huge part of my recovery. I got 21 and a half years clean and sober, and it's not about counting time for me as much as it's about, like, I mentioned that only because it's worth mentioning. Um, because it informs where I'm coming from. And the Tao is a big part of that. Understanding that the Tao, like even in this first line, the Tao never does anything. As
Mm-hmm.
an addict and as someone who is trying to come back from addiction, like, doing was everything, because when you stop using, you get bored, and when you get bored, you have to do something. And so you start filling your life with stuff that apparently, quote unquote, has meaning, right? I had an art career, and then I was a producer. I had my own production company, and then I did all of this stuff. But I realized over time that all of that stuff, just like my alcohol or drug use, was a symptom to the problem of me not being okay with who I was when I was being. And so the
Wow.
Tao never does anything. Yet through it, all things are done. So when we can be Tao, when we can be in this place of not thinking, right, not contemplating. And I know this show, whatever this is, right, this you and I talking about the Tao, is at odds with the Tao in its own nature, and I understand that.
Hmm.
But it is also within my dharma to be able to express and experience the Tao.
Wow. Well, first of all, congratulations for being sober for 21 years. That's really awesome.
Thank you.
So, when you're talking about the wanting, like, do you feel like when you were going through the addiction, there's a want, right? You always feel like there's something outside of you. If you can get it, then you'll be okay to move on with your life. So, in the society nowadays, there's so much self-righteous, or we feel like we need to want. So how do you deal with that, or how do you get the balance between the feeling of want and being accepting of yourself wanting something?
Well, I think this next line really kind of speaks to that. So, if powerful men and women, and who are powerful men and women? Everybody, everything,
Hmm.
right? We're all powerful, could center themselves in it, the whole world would be transformed by itself in its natural rhythms. Okay, that just expresses how it would happen. And then the next line is people would be content with their simple everyday lives in harmony and free of desire. And this is about centering in the Tao. This is about being here right now without wanting. Because that free of desire, like, imagine being free of desire. Now, here in the West, we often think about, like, but if you don't have a goal, if you don't have a thing that you want, you're not going to get anything. And that is coming from a place of fear,
That's so true. Yeah,
right? And
because
that's just a
everybody's talking about your
story.
5-year goal, your 10-year goal.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And but if you allowed yourself to be centered in the Tao, in 5 years you can achieve a lot more. The problem with our world is this the world that we live in today, it lives in this weird dichotomy of we are going to get you addicted to social media, we're going to get you addicted to food, we're going to get you addicted to alcohol, we're going to get you addicted to how you look, we're going to get you addicted to all these things. And while you're addicted to those things, you are going to lose yourself. And
Hmm.
then, in our attempt to maintain power over, to keep you living under the influence of this society, we're going to tell you to get goals so that you can fight the addictions that we keep serving you.
Yeah, that is so
And so,
true.
as long as they get us in a cycle of addiction, then you're right. As long as we are addicted to whatever it is we're addicted to, we won't have goals, and we won't actually be able to allow the Tao to do anything within us, because the addiction will have its hold over our ability to be.
It is really a control play, is a power
Hmm.
play, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. It's
And,
like
and,
when
and
our
the power
mhm.
play plays along with the idea that if you don't make plans, you won't achieve anything. Because
Yeah.
you won't, because you're addicted. But then if you can
Yes.
get away from the addiction and really be within the Tao, really be yourself and really be in this moment, which is going to be super uncomfortable if you've been living addicted to the world around you, then that's going to be very difficult. But when we say at this last line in 37, when there is no desire, all things are at peace. But when we think here in the West, if I didn't have desire, the first thought I would have is, I'm not going to have anything. I'm going to lose. I'm going to not gain anything. If I have no desire, I'm not going to get anything. And that's actually the opposite. But if you are stuck in the addiction of the physical world around you, then having no desire will only see you get further lost into separation.
Yeah, it reminds me of Michael Stone, the spiritual teacher. He was talking about wanting and the feeling of wanting. And he said, if you go into a store and you look at an item you want to buy, just observe the feeling of wanting for 10 minutes before you actually go and buy it. And most of the time, after the 10 minutes, you don't even want to buy it anymore. Is because we don't usually observe our impulse. We just go ahead with the autopilot, the need for an external
Instant
thing for us to
gratification.
feel okay. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a big difference between liking and wanting.
Mm-hmm.
Wanting is that basal ganglia, deep seated, like animalistic want, runs with addiction and other things. But when you notice that do you like that you're doing this? That's one of the questions I ask my clients to ask all the time is ask yourself, do you like that you're doing this? Doctor, why don't you come back up? I do have a couple people in line, but I would love to finish this off because you just popped down. So, all right, I'm going to bring Dr. Jackie back up, and then we'll bring up Dr. Rao and Dr. Jackie. If you don't know Dr. Rao, stick around and chat and listen to him when we're done. Okay, so
Hey,
so
I'm
yeah,
back.
so that was 37. I really appreciate you coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And any final thoughts on that?
Well, I really appreciate you being here sharing this. I didn't expect me having the end of my really tired day to bump into you. I think is a real blessing for me to remember to return to calm and peace and non-dualism. So I really thank you, Martin John Garcia, and I'm not gonna hog your place for somebody else to be blessed by your wisdom.
Oh, thank you so much, Doctor. You have a wonderful evening, and we will be in touch.
Yes, I'll follow you. Okay, take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Oh, and Dr. Jackie, thank you so much. And this is going to be Dr. Rao, and Dr. Rao always has great insights for things that we've talked about. Dr. Rao, how are you?
Yeah, Martin, how are you?
I am doing well. Do you know Dr. Jackie? Have you talked with her but yet?
No, I don't think so.
No, she has wonderful insight, but I wanted to hear what you had to say.
Yeah, related to this, there was a poem I remember. It's called
Mm.
Purnamidam Purnamadam. It goes like that. Is a few sentences there, but the essence of that is that is perfect, and this is perfect because it came from that perfection, right?
Yes.
Here, the perfection is that Brahman or the Tao that we are talking about, right?
Yes.
Now, if you are really knowing that self of who you are, that means you are the Brahman and all that, then you know you are already perfect, right?
Yes.
So, conceivably, you don't have to desire anything else because you're already perfect.
Mm.
The
Yes.
whole thing comes from what's called avidya kama karma. Avidya means you are ignorant of who you are. Vidya is education, avidya means ignorant, right? You are
Mm.
ignorant
Ignore
of who you,
education?
ignorant
Nice.
who you are, right? And then
Okay.
kama means desire, and karma means action. You are already perfect, but you have, because you are unaware of that, you are not educated about it, or you are ignorant of yourself, you have these desires as though you need something else. And then out of the
Mm.
desires, all the actions come.
Yes, I see that. Yeah.
And then the reverse of that is very, very interesting. That's where I think you need to pay attention now. It is now the manifested world and everything else was a manifestation of the Brahman or the Tao. right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So when you really serve that, that you are really serving the uh, serving without any desire for yourself,
Right.
and that itself is fulfillment. Like for example, you are not addicted anymore, but
Correct.
you are trying to help the people who are addicted now, right? So you are servicing them even though you don't need to have that because you're already perfect.
Right. Yeah,
But you
they
are
don't need,
reaching out.
and that's the
Yeah,
thing. I
you,
mean, like
yeah,
I go, one of the things, it's interesting, in my approach, and I just want to, it's always interesting because, like, when I go into an intensive outpatient program, I always tell them, I don't care about
mm,
your sobriety. I care about you. It's your perfection that I care about. It's your being that is what
yeah. But the
matters.
thing is, the argument is that I will be nothing if I don't do anything. Those kind of things. That's when you tell them. See, first you
Right.
realize the perfection within you, and then you serve. See, then it is like a desire is for the welfare of everybody, but not for your selfish desire.
Right. And
So
that's where,
yeah,
when there
I'm
is
just
no desire, all things are at peace.
yeah, I'm just giving you that argument people come up with. I will be without
Mm.
meaning. I'll be not doing anything.
Mm.
That kind of you will be much more meaningful because you are giving yourself and everything to help the people.
That's right. And it just like in this 37 that we read with Dr. Jackie, the whole world will be transformed by itself in its
Yeah,
natural rhythms. The natural rhythms mean that there is going to be addiction. There is nothing
exactly.
not perfect about addiction. Addiction is perfectly okay.
Yeah, but that's the thing that they don't have to go through if they realize who they are. Like I am
Right.
not addicted to anything
Hmm.
ever because even smoking also I never smoked and then I never used the drugs or anything like that. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not habituated even. Well, that's because you know this thing is there, that is itself is Sat Chit Anand. That means that existence that we have now, the conscious being we have now, that itself is the blissful thing.
Yes.
And everybody has that. It's not unique to anybody. Everybody has
No.
that. Only thing is, you are not realizing that.
Right. People like it's so beautiful when I get to do my work like here on Tao of the Day or on my podcast or whatever and realize that it's not me.
Mm.
It is being
Yeah,
done through me. Right? It is
exactly.
a gift that is being done through me and it is not mine. It is not something
That's
that I own. It is something that
that's it.
yeah,
That's it. See,
that is
modern
the
civilization.
beauty of what I
Yeah,
do.
the modern civilization is really mistakes the agent as us, as this
Right.
egoic structure or thought construct ego as us, and then that ego wants to fulfill itself, and all sorts of troubles break through because you can exert your ego on somebody else and wanting them to be this way, right?
That's
And
right.
that is a so real karma yoga, not just karma is just doing the action, but karma yoga comes in when you do without that agent because you're doing it just and you don't care for the results because you're already perfect.
That's right. The results don't matter. It doesn't
Yeah.
like the results are just there are there doesn't have to be any results. You do it
You
anyway.
don't crave for the results. It can be
Yeah,
there, but you
they could
don't
be
crave, or
there.
you also you don't really live for that.
Right. It's like as the results if the results show up or not,
Mm.
you
No,
still
no, but the
do
thing is,
your work.
everybody wants the goals. Everybody wants something in the
Right.
middle. They do. They can't find how can I have meaningful activity if I don't have this agent who is striving for it, or I don't have the result. But this is
Right.
what it is. You are
You know,
already perfect. You don't have to have anything to be perfect anymore. So you don't need anything for you. So you go and work for the world because that's also manifestation of the Brahman or
or the
Tao.
Brahman or the Tao. Yes. It's interesting. I've talked to people throughout my life. I haven't had a conversation like this in a long time. It's like, I've always said, we got to get rid of like all of the rules and all of the,
Yeah.
laws and stuff. And, just in theory, and people are always like, well, if there are no rules, if there are no religion, if there is no God, then why would people be good?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Oh,
wait, why would anybody be bad?
yeah. But
Like,
the
and
God is
that's,
not out there. It is in you.
no, that's right.
That's
That's
it.
right.
Yes.
Self is that which is God.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's basically that Sanskrit thing I always talk about. The life is for Atma Mokshardham. That means realize yourself who you are. You are not this body and mind, but they are your tools for the real you within you, right? And then that is the Atma Mokshardham. You strive for that throughout the life. That's the essence of purpose of life, human life. And then Jagat Hitacha. Jagat means world. Hitacha means welfare. You go and work for the welfare of the world.
Yeah.
See, Atma Mokshardham, self-realization, and Jagat Hitacha, working for the world. Not for the agent you have created yourself in your thought, or not for the artificial results, because you don't need those results to feel complete, because you're already complete.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And I think that is at the core of
Yeah.
everything that like this 37 was talking about. Like the Tao never does anything, nor should it, because it is perfect
No, no,
without
it,
doing.
it is like a screen of the movie.
Yes.
So it is not touched by it. So it
Yes.
doesn't do anything for you either, but it allows the play to happen or the cinema to happen there. And if you get caught in the script of the movie, then you are lost.
That's right. Yeah, the Tao is the screen, doesn't do anything, yet through it all things are done because you can see the movie on it and it can be
Yeah.
projected on it. Oh, beautifully,
But if
beautifully
you
put. I
well,
know
come
you
to the
expressed that
practice,
to me before.
yeah, I know. See, basically what it is whether you are in bliss or not depends on this. You don't have to tell anybody or anything. You subjectively feel that you are in bliss.
Mm-hmm.
Not because of the work, but already you are. And
Yes.
then you go and work for the welfare of the world. Actually, this is called Ashtamurti. That means eight ways the world manifested. They described in the ancient Veda all the five elements, then sun, then moon, that becomes seven. And the last one is the living beings of the world, not just the
Mm.
human beings, but
Yes.
animals and plants. That's all one unit. There's a living. In that living thing, there is only one Tao, one Brahman. One
Yes.
Brahman reflects, manifests as this living being. So that's why you don't sit down and say, I'm happy, I'm perfect, I will be blissful. Some people do that. Then you have missed the way. But if you indulge yourself in the pleasures and all these temporary things, then you miss the way. What's the balance is? Realize yourself, be in bliss, but then work for the this worship of this eight forms of Brahman.
Mm. It's always so great to have you contribute so much to Tao of the Day. I so appreciate your wisdom and all that you bring with you. Like, because every time you speak, you always kind of fill in so much more, so that we
Yeah,
can
I come
take.
from my friend Martin. That's all.
Yes,
you know?
and that's the thing. Like, like it's great to come on here and just do this, but I get to
Yeah,
explore and I get to learn and I get to and I reflect on all of our conversations. So that's
yeah.
something that's beautiful, beautiful gift.
But this is all spontaneous, though. I didn't come to say this
Yeah,
today morning. But what
and
you were
and
saying
and
about people have the
no.
goals, yeah, and then all this came through.
Yeah,
So
well, that's the thing. Like once you, I always feel like we're inspired.
Yeah.
We're
Yes,
inspired,
yes.
and that's where
You
it
are
comes
in bliss. You are in bliss, and that's it. And then you share, because you don't look down upon people who are not in bliss, but
from. That's right.
you kind of try to, serve them in this way, presenting what we understood, what we are experiencing. Then
Mm.
they can, but if their ego, if their own conditioning blocks them to receive this, too bad. But we are
That's
trying to,
right. Too bad. Like
yeah,
that's good. Good
yeah,
luck with that. Like,
yeah. Nice
thank you
talking to
so
you,
much.
Martin. I'll see you again.
Always, always. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the summer.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye. Oh, thank you guys so much for joining me for Tao of the Day. I may be cutting this short today. I know Graciela is in line. If she's still out there, I would love to chat. But if you benefit from the work that I do, definitely I would take financial tips and things through Venmo at @MartinJohn_Garcia. Graciela is out there, and so grateful I am for her return. Graciela, how are you doing?
I just came to say hi.
How are
And if Dr. Jackie is still a listener, I love her. She's only done one talk here and I already love her. I heard her talk when she was live and her little bio thing that we have here. Yeah, she's so cute.
Well, wonderful. I am definitely interested in checking out that talk and seeing what she has to offer because she definitely felt like some of my people. So I'm really glad that she's here and hopefully we'll be connecting again.
Yes, and Dr. Rao too. I always feel like hugged by him. Love him.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Oh, and you too, Martin John.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
such a big family here. I mean,
It
let
is.
you're not here live, but the last chapter of the book that we read, I was crying because the book was like talking about the author meeting a sister, if you will, that she had sent letters to for 10 years and hadn't met.
Mm.
End of the book, she's going across the world and her team is looking for Amila, and they don't know where Amila is, but they finally find her, so she's on her way and she's explaining how she's on her way, and then they hug and I'm crying because it's like us, we haven't
Yeah, I
met.
know. I
And
know. There's so
you know
many of
Lewis, I'm not sure if Lewis is here in the morning because he tends to be here late at night for us, but it's like
them.
the crack of dawn for him. I'm not sure if you know Lewis, the user. I think his name is Lewis John as well.
No, I don't know, Louis.
Oh, he's amazing. I would say he's only been on Wisdom for like a month, but he's here every night and we love him. Everything he shares is so deep, right?
Oh,
And so he
beautiful.
hugs and sending me hearts. Yes, it's the water. Yes. Sending me hugs. And I'm like, in the reading, I'm like, Lewis, you're sending me hugs. And I wish I could hug you for real because I'm crying. And it was so intense.
Oh, that's
Yes,
beautiful. Well, I'll definitely check out your talk, and I think I can track that back to Lewis to find out who he is and listen to some of his talk.
Yeah, he is fascinating. He's all the way in England, and
Oh,
it'll be 4 a.m. for him, and he's still here talking.
oh
And
wow.
I know. So he's probably sleeping right now.
Imagine, yeah.
But yeah, I just came to say hello. No need for a number.
All
I just
right,
because
sounds
usually
good.
I miss the Tao of the day, and I just love listening to you and everything you have to say. And do you know what I'm kind of like? I mean, it's kind of hard to say it, right? But I feel like, honestly, I'm addicted to gluten because I love bread and
Yeah.
I can't have bread.
Well, gluten is it's
Gluten is the devil.
carbs are addictive, and it's a big deal. Because they're not, like gluten, if you're celiac, like
It's
gluten is
I'm
not.
not celiac though, but I do
Oh,
have a
okay.
mild intolerance. So I'll have a piece of bread, for example, or a slice of pizza, and then the next day I'll have, my lower back will be sore because it's inflammatory. Or
Mm.
most of my symptoms used to be mental, actually. Like when I used to eat bread every day, I used to get panic attacks, foggy brain, lethargy. I'm not sure if that's how you say it in English.
Yeah, I would pronounce it lethargy.
Lethargy. Okay, thank you. Lethargy, and some people get a rash. My
Hmm.
symptoms were always like internal, and that's
Yeah.
why I years and years and years not knowing why I was getting those symptoms, right? I was always like in pain and inflamed and mood swings and whatnot. Once we discovered I have a mild gluten intolerance that is not celiac, changes have been made, but I'll still have a slice of pizza every now and then, and I always regret it. It's so
That's
sad.
right. You know, it's interesting. Like this is what I do with my clients and stuff when they have this sort of thing. It's like, recognizing, do you like that you're doing something? This is something
Right.
I talk about a lot, right? Like yes, you could like pizza, but then when you eat it, do you like that you're eating it? Which means the whole kit and caboodle, right? Like, you're going to get this rash tomorrow or whatever, you're going to get this thing tomorrow because of this or whatnot. And you recognize that. And then when you wake up the next day and you feel that, you're like, yeah, no, it
Yeah.
was right. But like, asking yourself, do you like that you're doing this, doesn't mean you have to change if you don't. If you don't like that you're doing it, that's fine. You can still do it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna eat an Oreo cookie. Okay, I'm gonna eat a cookie. Do I like that I'm doing this? Yes, of course I want to eat an Oreo
So
cookie.
cute that you
Now,
say that.
do I want to eat a third one? Do I like
Right.
that I'm eating a third one? Well, then I can say no. Like, if you like that you're taking a bite of pizza, okay.
Right, right,
But then, do you like that you're eating that fourth bite of that slice? Can
right,
you put the slice down and recognize that, I don't like that I'm doing this anymore?
right. Well,
And maybe you
I
can find a
typically
balance.
like, yeah, I typically like that I'm doing it until the next day, and then I'm like, ugh, why did I do that? It's really not until the next day that it hits me, of course, because the symptoms don't show up until the next day. But it's so funny that you mentioned Oreos, because guess who tried Oreos yesterday for the first time?
Your boy.
Yes, and he
Oh, man.
he loved them. He kept coming to me for another one. I'm like, no, dude, that's it. That's all you
Yeah.
get. Let me hide them. I hid them.
Yeah.
He hasn't
Yeah.
found them, but
Oreos are the one of the perfect balances of fat and sugar and crunch. Like,
right.
it is like, there's the smooth sugary, like, fatty layer, and then
Mhm.
the crunchy layer, and then the sweet and the fat, and it's like, it is designed to be addictive.
Well, he's a picky eater, so I
Oh
did
yeah, I do. Yeah.
think he was going to, he will reject things just because of the way they look. He will reject them. Like, I feel like if it had been one of those double stuffed Oreos where the cream is more visible, I feel like he wouldn't have eaten it. He
Right?
would have
Yeah,
looked at
double stuff is not
like,
is not the perfect balance. It is
right.
the perfect balance for people that like that creaminess, but it is like, I would not, like, I haven't had Oreos in over a decade, but really, like, the double stuff is just a little. I had double stuff when I was in high school, and I was like, no, this is not right.
Yeah, they're too sweet, and I
Yeah.
personally, if there's not a glass of milk next to me, I don't like them,
Yeah, Oreos
because
are like, Oreos are the worst without some sort of a thick beverage.
right. Well, I love them with coconut milk. So good.
Oh,
But
very good.
but it was just so sweet that he just ate them, and then of course, because he is a child and I don't comprehend like how things happen in his little body, he had like Oreos like all over the outside of his mouth, and it was just so cute. And you know I'm like, how are you eating this? We're eating together, and I don't have Oreos on the outside of my mouth, and and he does. It's just so fascinating to observe him. But oh my gosh, I love him so much, and I hit them. So maybe later I'll give him one. I'm pretty good at, those limits, like, you only get three and that's it, or you only get one and that's it. And we do that a lot with ourselves, right? We're pretty disciplined like that. And actually, I feel like it's the first time all year long that we buy Oreos. My husband surprised me with them. He was like, "Look what I got today." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. Guess we're having Oreos this week. Awesome." But yeah, gluten. Oh my gosh, man. It's just so
Yeah.
hard. In Puerto Rico, there's bread with butter in every meal, like as a side
Well, I'm
dish.
gonna I'm gonna pull this back a little bit, just because I do have Lois in line, and we're gonna go ahead and pick a
Oh
number. We'll get
yeah.
back to the Dow and whatnot.
I
So,
love you,
yeah,
John.
love
I'll
you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for coming.
bye.
Lois, wonderful to have you up, and we're gonna get back to the Tao. This is Tao of the day. How you doing, girl?
Hey, I'm doing good. How you doing, Martin?
Ah, you have some somber energy today.
Huh?
What's going on?
Oh,
You
because I am well relaxed and I've been up
yeah.
for a while and I'm going to go take my dog to the groomer. So,
Look at
oh,
you.
I'm
I'm
straight.
glad. It's very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. Like
I ain't been
it's
up early in a long time. It feel
good.
like
Like I
normal.
gotta make sure you get your rest.
Yeah, well, I was told, I remember, I think I told you, I was told to break routine
Yes. Yeah.
and rest and not get up so early and not do the routine all. I was able to still do my energy work and, of course, my meditation and my dancing at home.
All
But
right.
I had to break routine with going out. I had to break routine with where I went to go shopping for my food. I had to I've been told to break routine. So this breaking or getting up early in the morning was the hardest because I had to force myself back to sleep because I'm on the West Coast and I get up at
Mm,
4:30 every morning.
yeah.
Yeah. And I had to like, okay, you can go back to sleep, go back to sleep. But this morning I got up and it was 4:58 and I was like, can I get up now? I got to take the dog to the groomer. And I heard a yes. So I kind of got excited. And then I'm like, okay, no, calm down. You've been resting all this time. Don't get silly. So it's about everything in moderation.
That's right.
That's all. It's about everything in moderation. I would like to pick number 9.
Number nine. Number nine. Number nine.
I don't know
Uh,
why, but it just popped in my head.
all right. I have read this. I think I read this one with Julie last. Let's see. If you drink too much, you get drunk, and the engine won't start if you're always tinkering with it. If you hoard wealth, you fall into its clutches. If you crave success, you succumb to failure. Do what you have to do, then walk away. Anything else will drive you nuts.
That
Did
is
we
so
read this before?
no, that's just apropos. That's just like perfect on time because that's what this all this breaking routine is all about.
Yeah.
So I don't do too much of this or too much of that, and I don't take this too seriously or that too lightly. It's kind of like I've been finding that stay in the middle. That's why you hear the. It's not a somber, and it's calm. It's
Yeah, it's calm.
calm.
Do what you have to do, then walk away.
Yeah.
Anything else will drive you nuts. And that's the thing. Like, do what you have to do. Like this morning, I stayed in bed for a little bit longer because that's what I had to do at that moment. I didn't
Yeah.
get up and have to do anything else. And then when I did get up, I started doing all of the stuff that I had to do at that
Hmm.
moment. But I can stay in bed a little longer. I can
Yeah.
stay in bed and enjoy that moment that I have with Andy in the morning. Like I can enjoy that for that moment. And then
That's
I can get up and I can start doing what I have to do from there.
And for me, it's kind of like I was when I had my kids in the house and stuff. I always felt pressure. Got to get to clean this. Got to watch this. Got to hang this up. Got to do this. Got to, you know what I mean? Because I was setting
Yeah.
an example.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yeah.
by myself, I don't have to do shit,
That's
and
right.
that's the thing. Because I was like, okay, Louis, you haven't watched? No, I was told to break routine. So I.
And I love that. As we start with this number nine, if you drink too much, you get drunk.
That's
Like
right.
like let's look at the routine. If you stick to your routine so much, you're gonna get drunk on your routine. You're gonna get to this place. You're gonna be in this place where you are not able to see the forest through the trees, and you're going to be like, no, my routine is the most important thing, but it's not.
There it is.
It's about
That's
doing what you have to do. That's the most important thing.
that's why I said this is so apropos because
Yeah.
this is still in there from 2 days ago. Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
And I've been reheating my food on the paper plates. You know what I'm saying? It's
Do what you
like
have to do.
do what you have to do. Now I don't have to like I said, I don't have to do all that anymore. And I don't have to as soon as one load of clothes get ready to wash, you gotta wash the clothes. No, hell no, I don't have to do that. I got a lot of clothes. You
Yeah.
know, so I've been giving myself a break. I
That's
guess that's what
good.
I was told to do is and then break a routine. Because I'm breaking routine, I'm going places to stores I never go to for groceries and stuff, or to go for, like, I had to buy some stuff for my trip. I've been going to stores that I don't normally frequent. So in the breaking routine is where the blessings are. And I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna say it again. In the break of my routine has been where all the blessings have been, because I've gotten to experience things I wouldn't have experienced. I mean, I've been to several different places during this last 3 or 4 weeks. I've been told to break routine that I had never been to before. And I was like, oh, I like this. Oh, just even that
Yeah.
motorcycle thing with all those people. Lois is not a one who likes crowds, okay?
Right.
And it was so much, and I was kind of overwhelmed the first day, but then God said, I told you to break routine. You always, when you get like this, you'll leave and you'll say, hey, I had fun, thank you, I'm gonna go ride by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I didn't. I stuck with it for a
Yeah.
couple of days. I stayed in with it a couple of days. That was a serious breaker routine. Okay, and then it proved to be. Made me know that, hey, wait a minute, I ain't got to be this a certain way. I could do anything. I can just be spontaneous if I want to be. You know. And then it's balance. It's about balance. And when I break routine, when you same place, same thing, same shit, different day.
That's right.
That
That's
don't
right.
work. That don't work.
No.
Okay? It
And
works.
that's what you get drunk on, right? If you drink too much, if you have the same
Yeah.
shit every day, you get drunk on it. You don't want to get away from it. It's kind of like when you're at the bar and you're drinking, you're using, you're doing whatever you're doing, and you don't want to leave. You're just like, oh, this is gonna last forever. It's like,
Okay.
no,
No.
you can't, and when it says here, the engine won't stop if you're always tinkering with it, that's interesting, this idea of tinkering. But like, if you're always trying, like, if your engine is your life,
Hmm.
every time you want to control it in some way, you're tinkering. And
There it is.
even if that is in routine. So even if your routine isn't tinkering, your routine is exactly tinkering. You built your routine in order to tinker.
Exactly. So that it meant my thing is it's with the routine again, with the tinkering. I love growth, okay? I love talking to people and just talking about my story, because my story just helps people. I don't try to say, hey, you need my help. You need my help. I don't do that shit.
That's right.
Inspired and I'm led to go places and do things, and me wanting to be better, because I'm always trying to be better the next day today than I was yesterday. You know what I mean? That caused me in the beginning of this process, before I was told to break routine, to do some fracking on myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
that tinkering, and it wasn't my shit. I was digging in my backyard. I'm gonna say this: digging in my backyard like a dog for a bone that I didn't bury. And so
Mm.
I was told to break routine, because stop pulling on yourself. I'm gonna grow you organically.
That's
Okay?
right. Uh-huh.
And we grow organically when we recognize that everybody is us, and that you are in my life for me to get something from you, or to cleanse something from our past with my Ho'oponopono stuff. You know what I mean? We're
Well,
all
and that's where this goes, because it then says if you hoard wealth, you fall into its clutches. What is your wealth here? Right?
hmm
Your wealth could be your routine. Your wealth could be like the desire for something in the future. Your wealth, if you
hmm
hoard it, if you try and hold on to it, if you try to hold on to this moment, hold on to this rule, if you try and hold on to this concept or idea, you
yes,
fall into its clutches. You're no
there it is.
longer you're at that point living under its influence.
Yes, and I mean, the way God works with me over the past 12 years that I've been going through this healing process, I've never had to go on a routine, but because I moved by myself, I figure I needed a routine.
That's
So I
right.
need me a routine in the absence of needing one. And then, like, I got to get up every morning and go to work. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I gotta go do this, I gotta go do that. So that's why I said this on the cusp of me being told to break routine. This came right in there about the getting drunk with the routine, and it
Yeah.
makes perfect sense. And I know, And I know the reason for me breaking routine is so that I can be well prepared when I get ready to go in Mary Magdalene's cave next month. I,
Yeah.
I want to be able to receive all that energy that's because energy stays, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not stays, but it people are going in there for but like this, it's rich.
That's right.
Be able to
You
receive
do what you
all,
have to do, and then you walk away.
yes.
And that's it. That's it. You
And
do
that,
what
and
you're
that
gonna walk
right.
in. You're gonna have your experience, and then you walk away from
Then
it.
I
And
walk
that's it.
away. Man, tell you about it. That's right. And on everything too. And it's not about, oh my God, what if this? No, I ain't going into all that. My thing is, I'm gonna have a ball. Again. And so if I'm gonna say what ifs and all that kind of stuff, I'm no, but because I'm at a place where I'm at peace. I'm at a place where I've broken routine. I've and that was part of being in different places, meeting different people, having different experiences. That's what I'm gonna do next month on a big level. So
Yeah.
I'm being put in practice. That's how I said. And then this thing come up about the drunk and the this and the that and the this. It was perfect. You know,
Good.
since I ain't been getting up in the morning to hear to do this because I'm like, dang, I miss Marjan. But that's routine. That's routine. You know what I'm saying?
That's yeah, and that's all right. You know, we're still connected, and you can call me anytime.
Okay. All right. Tell Andy I said hello, and you guys have a blessed day. And I'm out because I'm
All right.
breaking routine. I ain't gonna stay on to the
Yeah.
last.
No, don't stay on to the last minute. You get out of here. You love your life. I love you. You have a wonderful day, love.
All right. Love you too, Martin. Bye bye.
Bye bye. All right, we're gonna wrap it up there. It's been about an hour. I love you guys so much. It's always great to present the Tao. Once again, if you benefit from the stuff that you're hearing here, I take. You go to my profile and you can donate. You can give me a little tip through Linktree, or you can go to um, what is it called? Venmo, and send me a tip through Venmo at martinjohn_Garcia. Thank you so much for joining me for Tao of the Day. Be on the lookout for more products from me. I definitely have workshops that are going to be going digital and some other things. But until next time, keep recovering yourself.